Stop! Before you dive into this gripping tale, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a single one of our incredible stories. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like. It truly helps us bring more inspiring content to you. Amelia Soto awoke at 5 a.m., just like every other day. Her alarm clock didn't even have a chance to sound. Her body had adapted to the routine she'd repeated for 3 months. She rose in silence. Her father slept in the next room, and any noise would wake him. Since his stroke, his sleep was light and he needed his rest. In the tiny kitchen, she lit the gas stove, one burner stubbornly broken. She put water on to boil for the cheapest coffee she could find at the supermarket. While she waited, she counted the coins scattered on the table. Barely enough for bus fare and a little food. She looked at herself in the cracked bathroom mirror. 28 years old, and she already looked older. The dark circles under her eyes had become permanent, and her hands were rough from endless scrubbing. She touched the azure locket she always wore. It was all that remained from her architecture student days, when she still believed her life would be different. At 6, she left home, heading for the city center. The bus was packed with commuters, most with faces as tired as hers. She got off in front of the Torres del Guadalquivir, a gleaming glass skyscraper that shimmered under the morning sun. She entered through the service door as always. Office employees used the main entrance, with its elegant lobby and marble floors. She descended to the basement, put on her gray uniform, and ascended floor by floor, cleaning up after others' messes. Meanwhile, 30 floors above, Alejandro Vargas reviewed his company's financial reports from his top-floor office. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of the city stretching to the distant hills. His assistant, Carmen, entered with fresh coffee and the daily newspaper. "Good morning, Vargas. Your meeting with the Japanese investors is at 10. "Thank you, Carmen. Have the contracts for the Valencia project arrived?" "Yes. They're on your desk for review and signature." Alejandro walked to the window, sipping his coffee. He had built this empire from scratch after graduating as an architect. Vargas Salukians was one of the country's most important construction firms, and he, at 30, was considered one of the most successful entrepreneurs of his generation. His office boasted original artworks, imported Italian furniture, and a view worth millions. He could buy anything he wanted, travel anywhere he dreamed, meet anyone. But there was something money couldn't buy: answers about why Amelia Soto had vanished from his life, without a single explanation. That morning, as Amelia cleaned the restrooms on the 15th floor, she didn't know destiny was about to reunite her with the only man she had ever truly loved. And while Alejandro reviewed blueprints in his office, he couldn't imagine that the woman who had marked him forever was just a few floors away, dressed in a cleaning uniform. The azure locket she wore was the only remaining link between their two worlds, now as different as day and night. But destiny has strange ways of mending things, and that day, in the elegant corridors of Vargas Salukians, the past was about to catch up with the present. Have you ever felt like destiny had a plan for you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Amelia, is that you? The question cut through the air like a knife. Amelia felt her cloth slip from her hands, falling to the floor with a dull thud. She froze in the middle of the 20th floor hallway, staring at the man who had recognized her voice before he saw her face. Alejandro Vargas stood before her, in that impeccable suit that cost more than she earned in 6 months. His eyes were the same, but now they held a hardness she didn't remember from university. "I don't know what you're talking about, sir," she murmured, quickly bending to pick up the cloth. "I think you're confusing me with someone else." "That locket?" Alejandro pointed to the handcrafted azure locket hanging from her neck. "You made it. I remember it perfectly." Amelia instinctively touched the locket, the very one she had made with her own hands, 10 years ago, when she still believed she could be an architect, when she still thought she and he had a future. "Excuse me, I have work to do," she said, trying to walk towards the elevator. Amelia Soto. He pronounced her full name, as if it were an equation he had just solved. "Second row in architectural design B. You always sat by the window." Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure he could hear it. 10 years had passed, and he remembered even where she sat in class. "I don't know what you're talking about, Vargas. Why did you disappear?" The question hit her like a punch to the stomach. One day you were there, and the next, nothing. As if you had vanished from the face of the earth. Tears threatened to fall, but she swallowed them. She wouldn't cry in front of him, not dressed in this uniform that screamed everything she had lost, everything she had sacrificed. "I have to go," she murmured, pressing the elevator button desperately. "Wait." Alejandro extended his hand, but didn't touch her. "Just tell me, are you okay?" The question utterly shattered her. "Are you okay?" As if it mattered, as if after 10 years he truly wanted to know the answer. "I'm working," she replied as the elevator doors opened. "That's all you need to know, Vargas." She stepped into the elevator without looking at him, but she could feel his eyes following her until the doors closed between them. Inside the elevator, she finally allowed herself to exhale for the first time in 5 minutes. Her hands trembled as she touched the azure locket. She should have taken it off years ago. She should have thrown it away along with all the memories of when she believed life could be fair. But she hadn't been able to. The elevator stopped on the 15th floor, and Marta, one of the other cleaning staff, her only friend in this place, got on. "Are you okay, darling? You look so pale." "Yes, just. It was a tough day." Marta studied her with that maternal gaze she had for all the younger girls. "Did the boss say anything bad to you? Because if so, I'll talk to the supervisor." "No, it was nothing." Emilia adjusted her locket, hiding it under her shirt collar. "Just a misunderstanding." But as the elevator descended to the basement where her locker was, Emilia knew this was no misunderstanding. It was the past coming to collect its debts. The past she had tried to bury for 10 years. 20 floors above, Alejandro still stood in the same spot, staring at the closed elevator doors. His assistant Carmen approached with a folder in her hands. "Vargas, the meeting with the Japanese is in half an hour. Is everything all right?" "Carmen," he said, not taking his eyes off the elevator, "I need you to find an employee's file. Any problem with the staff?" "No." Alejandro adjusted his tie. "Just curiosity. Her name is Emilia Soto. She works in the cleaning department." Carmen wrote the name in her electronic notebook. "Anything specific I should look for?" Alejandro closed his eyes for a second. He saw that frightened look again, the way she had clutched the cloth to her chest as if it were a shield. "Everything," he replied. "I want to know everything about her." Alejandro couldn't concentrate on the meeting with the Japanese investors. For 2 hours he pretended to pay attention, while his mind was completely elsewhere, on a 28-year-old girl with an azure locket and eyes full of fear. When the meeting ended, he went straight to his office and closed the door. Carmen had left Emilia's file on his desk. He opened it with trembling hands. Emilia Soto, 28 years old, single, address in a neighborhood he knew was one of the poorest in the city. 3 months working at Vargas Salukian's. Work references: office cleaning, factory work, waitress in a cheap restaurant. There was nothing about university studies, nothing about architecture, as if that part of her life had never existed. Alejandro leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. The Emilia he remembered was brilliant, creative, full of dreams. Her class projects were always the most original. She had a way of seeing space that fascinated him. He got up and walked to his personal archive. At the back, he kept a folder he hadn't opened in years. Inside were all his university papers, including a project they had done together for urban design class. He took out the blueprints and spread them on his desk. There was Emilia's handwriting, her freehand sketches, her innovative ideas for a community center. He remembered the nights they had spent working together in the library, how she chewed on her pencil when she was thinking, how her eyes lit up when she had a new idea. And he remembered the last time he saw her. It had been a Friday. She had missed class all week, and he was worried. He went to her house to look for her, but the woman who lived there told him they had moved without notice. No one knew where. For months he searched for her. He asked all their classmates. He went to the administration, even hired a private investigator. But it was as if Emilia Soto had vanished from the face of the earth. Over time, he moved on with his life. He graduated, started his company, became successful. But he never forgot her. Every woman he dated ended up being compared to her. None came close. Now he had her here, cleaning the floors of his company, and he didn't know what to do with all the rage and pain he felt. His phone rang. It was Carmen. "Senor Vargas, Miss Castillo is here to see you." Natalia Castillo, his financial director and ex-girlfriend. Their relationship had ended 6 months ago, but she insisted on maintaining professional encounters, which always ended up being personal. "Send her in." Natalia entered with that smile he knew so well. Red dress, high heels, everything calculated to attract attention. "Hello, Alejandro, you look tense. Is everything all right?" "Just work. What do you need?" "The quarterly reports are ready, and I wanted to invite you to dinner to discuss the Malaga expansion." Alejandro looked at her without really seeing her. His mind was still on Emilia's azure locket, on the way she had trembled when he said her name. "Natalia, do you know anyone named Emilia Soto?" "Emilia Soto?" Natalia frowned. "Why?" "Just asking. Doesn't ring a bell." "Why? Is it important?" "No. Forget it." But Natalia was too smart to let it go. She approached the desk and saw the blueprints spread out. "What's this? A new project?" "Just old memories." Natalia read the signature on the blueprints. "Emilia Soto. Architectural design Ah, she said, and something changed in her expression. "Emilia Soto. Do you know her?" "Maybe." "Where do you know her from?" "From university." "Why?" Natalia smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "No reason. It's just that name sounds familiar." That night, Alejandro stayed in the office very late, looking at the blueprints and trying to understand what had happened to the woman he once thought would be the love of his life. And in a small house on the other side of the city, Emilia took off her azure locket for the first time in 10 years and put it in a drawer, promising herself she would never wear it again. But some promises are meant to be broken. What secrets do you think Natalia is hiding? How do you think this will unfold? Tell us your predictions in the comments. And don't forget to like and share this video if you're hooked. The next day, Natalia arrived at the office early. She had stayed awake all night remembering that name, Emilia Soto, and now she knew exactly who she was. She went directly to the Human Resources Department. "Good morning, Clara. I need to review an employee's file." "Of course, Miss Castillo." "Which one?" "Emilia Soto, from the cleaning department." Clara handed her the file. Natalia quickly skimmed it until she found the photo. There she was, 10 years older, with dark circles under her eyes and a tired face. But it was definitely her. The same Emilia Soto who had been about to win the academic excellence scholarship that Natalia desperately needed. The same one who had submitted projects so brilliant that professors used her as an example. The same one who had disappeared just before the final exams of the second year. Natalia smiled. Destiny had a twisted sense of humor. That morning Emilia arrived at work trying to act normal. She had promised herself that if she ran into Alejandro again, she would pretend not to know him. She couldn't afford to lose this job. Her father needed medicine, and her salary here was all they had. She was cleaning the restrooms on the 12th floor when someone knocked on the door. "May I come in?" It was an elegant woman, about 30, in a black suit that cost more than Emilia's entire wardrobe. "Excuse me, I'm cleaning. You can use the hallway restroom." "I'm not here for that." The woman entered and closed the door. "I'm Natalia Castillo, financial director. You're Emilia Soto, aren't you?" Emilia nodded, not understanding what this woman wanted with her. "We met a long time ago at university." The cloth fell from Emilia's hands. Natalia Castillo, the most competitive student of her generation, the one who was always trying to outperform everyone, the one who... "You're the one who helped me get that scholarship, right?" Natalia smiled. "Although in the end you couldn't take advantage of it, could you?" Emilia felt the ground move beneath her feet. The scholarship she had lost because of the rumors someone had spread about her family. about her financial situation, about alleged irregularities in her documents or rumors that had reached the administration and caused her financial aid to be revoked. "It was you," Amelia whispered. "I just told the truth, that your father had lied on the documents about his income, that your family didn't qualify for that scholarship because you had hidden money. That was a lie, and you knew it." "Was it a lie?" Natalia moved closer. "Because I remember you disappeared after that. If you hadn't done anything wrong, why did you leave?" Amelia closed her eyes. She couldn't explain that she had left because her father had had the stroke exactly at that time, that she had had to drop everything to take care of him, that they had lost their house because she could no longer work and study at the same time. "You don't have to explain anything to me," Natalia continued. "I just wanted you to know that I know who you are, and Alejandro knows now too." "What do you want?" "Nothing. I just wanted to say hello and offer you something." Natalia took a folder from her bag. "We're launching a social responsibility program. We need someone to coordinate community activities. The salary is 3 times what you earn cleaning bathrooms." Amelia looked at the folder without touching it. "Why are you offering it to me?" "Because Alejandro believes you deserve an opportunity. And let's say I like to give second chances." There was something about Natalia's smile that gave Amelia a bad feeling. "What's the catch?" "No catch. You would just have to work directly with me. Report to me and, of course, represent the company at social events. Mingle with important people. Speak publicly about the program." Amelia understood immediately. Natalia wanted to expose her, publicly humiliate her, put her in situations where it would be clear she didn't belong in that world. "No, thank you." "Are you sure? It's a very good opportunity. I don't think you'll get another one like it." "I'm sure." Natalia put the folder away with that smile that didn't reach her eyes. What a shame. Well, I guess some people never learn to seize opportunities. She left the restroom, leaving Amelia alone with her memories and her fear. Now she knew her past had not only found her, it also sought revenge. Alejandro couldn't sleep that night. After Natalia mentioned knowing Amelia, something didn't add up. He had seen her leave the building with a smile that was too satisfied, and that was never a good sign when it came to Natalia. The next day he arrived at the office early. He needed to talk to Amelia before she could avoid him again. He went down to the basement where the cleaning staff lockers were. It was the first time he had set foot in that area of the building. He found her changing to start her shift. When she saw him, she froze. "What are you doing here, Senor Vargas? I need to talk to you, please." "I already told you I don't know." "Amelia, please. I know it's you. I know you remember me. And I need you to listen to me for 5 minutes. She looked around. Some employees watched them curiously. "A boss never came down to this place." "Not here." "Then come to my office." "I can't. I have to work." "I'm your boss. I'm giving you permission." Amelia looked at him with a mix of fear and anger. "I'm not your direct employee, and I'm not going to your office." Alejandro ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. "Then tell me where, because I'm not giving up." "At the coffee shop on the corner at lunchtime, just once, and then you leave me alone." "Okay." That morning, Amelia couldn't concentrate on her work. Marta noticed that she was nervous. "What's wrong, darling? You seem very agitated." "It's complicated, Marta. Does it have to do with the boss who came down looking for you?" "How do you know that?" "Everyone here knows everything. That man had never come down to the basement." "What does he want with you?" Amelia sighed. She couldn't tell her the whole truth. "He knows me from before, from when I was studying." "You were studying? What were you studying?" "Architecture." Marta looked at her in surprise. "And why didn't you finish?" "Life, Marta. Sometimes life doesn't let you choose." At 2 in the afternoon, Amelia nervously headed to the coffee shop. Alejandro was already there, sitting at a back table. He had ordered 2 coffees. "Thanks for coming," he said when she sat down. "You have 5 minutes. Why did you disappear?" He went straight to the point. "One day you were there and the next, nothing. Not a call. Not an explanation." Amelia clenched her hands on the table. "I had to leave." "Why?" That's none of your business. Yes, it is my business. It mattered to me then, and it matters to me now. Alejandro, 10 years have passed. We are different people. Not so different. You're still wearing the locket you made in class. Emilia instinctively touched her neck. It's just a locket. Not to me. That locket represents everything you were, everything you could have become. What happened to your dreams? Tears threatened to fall. Dreams don't pay for a sick father's medicine. Your father is sick? He had a stroke 10 years ago, right when I had to leave university. Alejandro was silent, processing the information. Is that why you left? Among other things. What other things? Emilia looked him in the eyes for the first time. Your girlfriend came to see me yesterday. Natalia? What for? To offer me a better job, coordinator of the company's social program. That's fantastic. I didn't accept. Why not? Because I know what kind of person Natalia Castillo is. I met her at university. She was the one who... She stopped. She couldn't tell him that. She couldn't explain how Natalia had destroyed her opportunities years ago. The one who what? Nothing. Just that I don't trust her. Alejandro leaned forward. Emilia, I'm not with Natalia. We broke up months ago. That doesn't matter to me. It matters to me, and I want you to know that the job offer didn't come from her. It came from me. What? Yesterday, after seeing you, I told Carmen I wanted to create a real social program. Something that would make a difference. And I thought of you. Why? Because you always had a special vision for creating spaces that helped people. Your university projects always sought solutions for real problems. Emilia shook her head. That was a long time ago. Talent isn't forgotten. And I want to give you the opportunity you lost 10 years ago. I don't need your pity. It's not pity. It's justice. Emilia got up from the table. Our 5 minutes are up. Think about it, please. You could make the difference you always wanted to make. But she was already gone, leaving him alone with 2 cold coffees and a heart that didn't know whether it beat with hope or pain. What would you do if you were Emilia? Would you take the job and face your past? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. 3 weeks later, Emilia was still cleaning floors, and Alejandro was still looking for excuses to run into her in the hallways. But she had perfected the art of becoming invisible whenever she saw him approach. Marta noticed the change in her friend. That man has you completely captivated, doesn't he? I don't know what you're talking about. The handsome boss who won't stop looking for you. The whole company is talking about it. What are people saying? That he's after you? And that his ex-girlfriend is furious. Emilia felt a chill. Natalia had been too quiet lately, and that was not a good sign. That afternoon, while cleaning offices on the 20th floor, Alejandro intercepted her in the hallway. I need you to come with me. I already told you that. It's not personal. It's work. He led her to a boardroom where several employees sat around a table. I want you to meet Emilia Soto. She's going to coordinate our new social responsibility program. Emilia looked at him, startled. I haven't accepted any job. You just did, he said with a smile. Your salary triples starting tomorrow. Carmen will give you all the details. You can't force me. I'm not forcing you. I'm giving you the opportunity to do what you always wanted to do. Design projects that help people. Emilia looked at all the people who were observing her expectantly. She couldn't make a scene in front of them. I need to think about it. You've thought about it for 3 weeks. It's time to act. That night, Emilia arrived home more confused than ever. Her father was watching television in the living room. How was your day, darling? Strange, Papa. Very strange. She told him about the job offer. Her father listened in silence. And why don't you want to accept? Because it's complicated. Complicated how? The boss. I knew him before. A long time ago. Was he your boyfriend? Emilia sighed. Her father had always been very direct. Something like that. And do you still love him? Papa. It's a simple question, Emilia. Do you still love him? She was silent. The answer was yes, but she couldn't admit it. Look, darling, I know you dropped out of your studies for me, and I feel guilty every day about it. It wasn't your fault. Maybe not. But if you now have the opportunity to do what you always wanted, don't waste it out of fear. The next day, Emilia accepted the job. Alejandro smiled when Carmen gave him the news. Tell her she starts on Monday, and the first project is to present the program at the company's annual gala. The gala? Carmen seemed surprised. Sir, that gala is in 3 days. All the investors, partners, the press will be there. Exactly. It's the perfect place to launch the program. What Alejandro didn't know was that Natalia had been waiting for exactly that opportunity. On the night of the gala, the main ballroom of the city's most elegant hotel was filled with important people. Men in tuxedos and women in designer dresses. Emilia arrived in the only decent dress she had, a black one she had bought on sale 2 years ago. She felt completely out of place. Alejandro went up to the podium to present Vargas Salukian's new social program. Tonight, I want to introduce you to the coordinator of our program, a person who truly understands the needs of our community, Emilia Soto. Applause filled the room as Emilia nervously walked towards the microphone. She had prepared a simple speech about the program's objectives, but before she could begin to speak, Natalia stood up from her table. "Excuse me," she said loudly. "I think everyone should know something about our new coordinator." The room fell silent. Emilia Soto, until a week ago, worked cleaning bathrooms in our company, and before that, well, let's just say she's had very humble jobs. A murmur swept through the room. Emilia felt her legs tremble. "I think it's admirable that we give opportunities to less fortunate people," Natalia continued with a false smile. "Although perhaps we should ask ourselves if someone without university studies can really coordinate such an important program." The silence was deafening. Emilia looked at Alejandro, whose face was red with fury, then at all those elegant people who watched her as if she were an animal in a zoo. Without a word, she turned and left the ballroom. Alejandro arrived at Emilia's house 2 hours after the gala. His tie loosened and his jacket wrinkled. It had taken him that long to kick Natalia out of the company, in front of all the guests, and to explain to the partners what had really happened. He knocked on the door of the small house in the Triana neighborhood, Seville. It was very different from the world of glass and marble in which he lived, but there was something warm in that simplicity that calmed him. Emilia opened the door. She had taken off the black dress and was wearing an old t-shirt and jeans. Her eyes were red from crying. "What are you doing here?" "I came to apologize." "You have nothing to apologize for." Natalia was right. "I don't belong in that world." Emilia was about to close the door, but he put his hand out to stop her. "Please, give me 5 minutes. I have nothing left to say to you, Alejandro. But I have a lot to say to you." She sighed and stepped aside to let him in. The living room was small but clean, with old but well-maintained furniture. On the walls were some framed drawings. "Did you do these?" he asked, approaching one of the drawings. "They're just doodles. They're architectural sketches, and they're incredible." Alejandro took a folder he had brought under his arm. "I brought something I want to show you." He opened the folder and took out a yellowed blueprint. It was the project they had done together in their second year. The community center that was never built. "Why did you keep that?" "Because it was the only thing I had left of you. After you disappeared, this project became the most important thing I had." Emilia approached to see the blueprint. Her 10-year-old handwriting was there, along with ideas she had forgotten she ever had. "Look at this." Alejandro pointed to a part of the design. "This was your idea. A multi-purpose space that could function as a library, classroom, or meeting center, depending on the community's needs. It was just a school project." "No, it was much more than that. It was brilliant. And you know what's most incredible? That after all these years, it's still relevant. It's still exactly what our city needs." Emilia touched the paper carefully. "It's no use now." "Of course it is. I want to build it." "What?" "I want this to be the first project of our social program." "Your project? With your name?" Emilia shook her head. "Alejandro, I clean bathrooms. I'm not an architect." You are the most creative person I've ever met. And the fact that you didn't finish your degree doesn't mean you don't have the talent. People won't take me seriously. I don't care what people think. I care about you." The words hung in the air between them. Amelia looked him in the eyes for the first time all night. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I love you." The confession came out before he could stop it. 10 years of silence shattered. "Because I loved you then, I love you now. And I'll probably love you always. And because I can't bear the idea of you wasting your talent cleaning offices when you could be changing the world." Amelia felt tears welling in her eyes. "Alejandro, I know I'm an idiot for not having looked for you more. I know I should have found you years ago. But I'm here now, and I'm not giving up again." He slowly approached her. "And I know you feel something too. I see it in your eyes every time we meet in the hallways." Amelia couldn't deny it anymore. The truth was, she had never stopped loving him. All these years she had compared every man she met to the memory of Alejandro. And none had even come close. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Of what?" "That this is just guilt. That you feel obligated to rescue me." Alejandro took her face in both hands. "This is not guilt. This is love. And I'm not rescuing you. I'm trying to rescue myself." He kissed her slowly as if he had all the time in the world. It was a kiss filled with 10 years of silence. Of all the unspoken words. Of all the unkissed kisses. When they separated, Amelia's cheeks were wet with tears. "What are we going to do now?" "We're going to build your community center. Together. And after we'll see what happens. No rush, no pressure. Just you and me, like it always should have been." What an emotional reunion. Do you believe in second chances in love and life? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you've subscribed and liked this video. 3 months later, the office that had been Natalia's was now Amelia's. Alejandro had insisted it be the best space available, with large windows and an incredible view of the city. Amelia arrived early every morning, but no longer to clean floors. She arrived with blueprints under her arm, with new ideas, with the energy she had lost for 10 years and had now recovered. Marta still worked in cleaning, but now she would stop by Amelia's office for coffee and to catch up. "Look where you are now, darling," she would say. "From cleaning bathrooms to having your own office. Sometimes I can't believe it. And how are things with the handsome boss?" Amelia smiled. Things with Alejandro were going slowly, as he had promised. They had breakfast together some mornings, worked together on projects, and little by little they were rebuilding the trust they had lost. It hadn't been easy. Amelia had had to learn to believe in herself again, to speak in front of investor groups, to defend her ideas before people who had university degrees, and she didn't. But Alejandro was always there to support her. The board approved the budget for the community center. He told her one morning, entering her office with papers in his hand. Seriously, construction begins next month." Amelia stood up and hugged him without thinking. It was the first time she had touched him since the night of the kiss at her house. "Thank you," she whispered in his ear. "Don't thank me. This is all your work." But she knew that without him, none of this would have been possible. The construction of the community center became Vargas Salukian's most important project. Amelia spent hours on the construction site, supervising every detail, making sure everything was exactly as she had imagined 10 years ago. One day, while reviewing the blueprints with the supervising architect, Alejandro arrived with coffee for both of them. "How are we doing?" "Good. I think it's going to be better than I expected. Do you know what I like most about all this? That you're smiling again, like before." Amelia realized he was right. She had recovered something she thought was lost forever. The passion for creating, for doing something that mattered. "Do you know what I like most?" "What?" "That you're also different, more relaxed, as if you've found something you were looking for." Alejandro looked at her with that intensity that made butterflies flutter in her stomach. "Yes, I found something I was looking for. I found you." That night, after all the workers had left, they stayed alone at the construction site. The walls were barely rising, but she could already imagine how the finished space would be. "Do you remember this?" Amelia pointed to a part of the building. This is where the library was going to go. And here the multi-purpose room, he added, walking towards another area. I can't believe we're actually building it. I can't believe you're here with me after all this time. He approached her slowly. They had been careful these past months, taking things slowly, but the tension between them had been growing every day. Amelia? Yes. Do you think we could try? Seriously. I mean, not just work. Us. She had been waiting for that question for weeks. Yes, I think so. This time the kiss was different. It was hungry, filled with months of restraint, of barely touching, of looking at each other with longing but without daring. When they separated, both were breathless. I've been waiting for this since the night at your house, he confessed. Me too. Dinner tomorrow? Like a real date, not like coworkers. I'd love that. As they walked towards their cars, Amelia touched the azure locket she had started wearing again since she accepted the job. You know what? She told Alejandro. I think I'm going to make another locket. A new one. Why? Because this one represents my past, and I think it's time to think about the future. Alejandro smiled and took her hand. I like the sound of that. As they drove away from the construction site, neither of them knew that Marta had been watching them from the building across the street, smiling like a proud mother. It was about time, she murmured. It was about time. What a beautiful journey for Amelia and Alejandro. Their story reminds us that true love and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. If you're inspired by their second chance, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with someone who needs to hear this powerful message. 2 years later, the Esperanza Community Center was bustling with activity. Children ran through the hallways, mothers took computer classes in the multipurpose room, and in the library, a group of teenagers studied for their exams. Amelia walked through the building that had been born from her imagination, observing how each space perfectly fulfilled the function for which it had been designed. It was better than she had ever dreamed. Proud of your work? Asked Marta, who now coordinated activities for senior citizens at the center. Very much so. And proud of your man? Amelia looked towards the garden, where Alejandro was playing soccer with a group of neighborhood children. He had taken off his jacket and tie, and his shirt was stained with dirt. He looked completely happy. Also, Marta smiled. When are you two getting married? You've been together for 2 years already. We're not in a hurry. We're good like this. But the truth was that Amelia had been thinking a lot about that lately. Her relationship with Alejandro had flourished naturally, without pressure or drama. He had moved into a simpler house, more like her world, and she had grown professionally without losing her roots. She now directed the Foundation Esperanza, which had built 3 more community centers in different neighborhoods of the city. Her work had been recognized by international organizations, and she had given lectures at universities across the country. But what made her happiest was seeing families using the spaces she had designed. Miss Amelia, a girl of about 8, called out, "My mom wants to meet you." Amelia followed the girl to the play area, where a young woman waited with a shy smile. "You're the one who designed this place, aren't you?" "Yes. I wanted to thank you. My daughter comes here every day after school. She does her homework in the library, takes art classes, and I know she's safe. This place changed our lives." Amelia felt her eyes well up with tears. It was for conversations like that that she did what she did. "Thank you for telling me." When the woman left, Amelia remained alone in the garden. The sun was beginning to set, and the center was slowly emptying. Alejandro approached, still breathing heavily from soccer. "The kids beat me 3-1. I think I'm old." "You're 32. Exactly. Old." They sat together on a bench facing the basketball court. "Do you know what day it is today?" he asked her. Amelia thought for a moment. "Tuesday? It's our anniversary. It's exactly 3 years since we reconnected in the hallway of Torres del Guadalquivir." "Seriously? Seriously? Do you remember what you thought when you saw me?" "That I wanted to die of embarrassment." "And what do you think now?" Amelia looked at him. He had dirt on his cheek and his hair was disheveled, but he was still the most handsome man she had ever seen. "I think destiny is very wise. Why? Because if we had stayed together 10 years ago, I would never have learned to value myself, and you would never have learned that real success isn't measured in money. Alejandro nodded. She was right. These past few years had been the happiest of his life, precisely because they had built something together based on honesty and mutual respect. You know what? He said, pulling a small box from his pocket. I think we've learned what we needed to learn. Emilia held her breath. Alejandro, it's not what you think. Well, yes, it's what you think, but not only that. He opened the box. Inside was a locket. It was azure, like the one she always wore, but this one had small silver details that formed tiny architectural blueprints. I had it specially made for you. It represents everything you've built, everything you are now. Emilia touched the locket carefully. It's beautiful. Do you want me to put it on you? She nodded. Alejandro stood up and placed himself behind her to put on the new locket. His fingers brushed her neck, and she felt the same shiver as always. Ready. Emilia touched the locket and smiled. And my old locket? You keep that one, to remember where you came from. And this one is to remember where you're going. They kissed as the sun finished setting behind the community center, as the neighborhood children shouted in the distance, as life continued its course around them. And for the first time in a long time, both knew with certainty that they were exactly where they needed to be. What a truly beautiful story of Emilia and Alejandro. It shows us that true love always finds a way to return, even after years and complete changes in circumstances. This story reminds us that it's never too late to pursue our dreams and that sometimes second chances arrive when we need them most. The azure locket became the perfect symbol of how we can honor our past while building a better future. If you were moved by this story of love and overcoming challenges, don't forget to like the video and share it with that special someone who believes in happy endings. We invite you to subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories that remind us that love and perseverance can transform our lives. Did you like how Emilia managed to rebuild her life and find love again? Tell us in the comments what part of the story you liked the most.